Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's me again, Insane Gorilla, and welcome back to my channel. This is gonna be part 1 to What If Asta, wait for it, was the reincarnation of Sephiroth from Final Fantasy. Now, this was the actual surprise I was talking about. Some of you guys were really into it, and to be honest, truthfully, it never really left my mind. You guys seem to have loved it when I did a 300 special, so this is going to be a full series. Hopefully. And what if Asta was the kid of Igneal? Still going to do it, just not as much. So, I'm going to start this off with Asta when he was a kid. Him being the reincarnation of Sephiroth, he doesn't have normal mana, he has Mako energy. And because he is the good version of Sephiroth, well, yeah, he has this good personality, especially when he was a child with Yuno. With Yuno still having his pendant, as he would actually walk outside of the orphanage to see Asta, well, kind of tending a garden with Sister Lily. As well, Sister Lily and Asta have a pretty good friendship. Asta would usually help Sister Lily out, and Sister Lily would often give Asta a few pointers in why she left the Magic Knights. Because if you remember, she was a Magic Knight. And she also gave him a few pointers in combat skills that she personally used with her magic, which none of us really know what it was. As I'm going to say, it was sword magic, where she could make swords just swirl around her, as she would send them all at her enemies. As well, Asta would actually be quite fascinated with swords, as he would say, if I ever get a grimoire, I hope it's a sword grimoire. As well, would often find this quite amusing, as him and Asta also have a pretty good friendship. As the days go by, the problem with getting his getting his pendant stolen by that drunk happens, with Asta interfering, carrying a pretty long wooden staff, as he would actually batter the guy around the head with it, and, well, sort of pissed the guy off, as he would threaten him to use his magic, well, his grimoire in self-defense. With Asta continuously battering him, he would eventually use his grimoire, trying to, trap Asta in water, figures water magic that he has, as Asta would actually, no longer be in his field of view. As the guy would look around to see where he is, he would get slammed in the side by Asta's foot, as he would appear right next to him, with the staff being held like Sephiroth would usually hold his sword. Being very, very surprised about Asta's strength within his legs, with Asta also being very surprised, as would often ask him, Asta, what was that? With Asta kind of responding, saying, hell if I know. It just seemed like it was natural to me. as well. They would all head back to the orphanage. And Asta goes actually to the demon's skull, just exploring on his own. And people know he's capable of looking after himself, even at the age of 9, which I'm going to say he is. As he would go around, he would find a silver haired girl with purple eyes. As she would be sitting there just crying. As Asta would walk up to her and say, "Yo, what's up? Why are you crying?" As she would look up to him, and she's actually holding a bunny in a, well, a teddy bear bunny in her arms. And she would just say, "My family just bullied me for no reason because they think that I'm responsible for my mother's death." As Asta would, he doesn't even know why, would get really angry. As he would say, "Just because your mother died, they just blame you? That's just messed up in a whole different way. Even if I had a mother and she died, and I had siblings, and if they blamed me, I'll just tell them it's not me who killed her. She was most probably weak from something else, from poison or something like that. Well, hell, did she even have a mark on her to indicate that something else happened? I swear, if I ever see any of your family members, I'll beat them to death. With my own hands if necessary." With well, them talking for a few minutes, well, for a few hours, as Asta would actually ask her if she wanted to play hide and seek. She would be the hider, and he would be the seeker. As she would actually smile, saying, "Sure, why not?" As she would actually run and hide, actually smiling, with Asta grinning, saying, "I've got a new friend, this is so cool." As they would actually play hide and seek. With, well, sorry about that, guys. Just had to yawn. With Asta actually going all over the place looking for her, eventually finding her hiding in a bush. As he would say, "Got you." As she would sigh, saying, "Oh, but I was having so much fun. I was hoping you would never find me in here." As Asta would give her a compliment, saying, "Honestly, true for you, I was actually having trouble finding you. It wasn't until I heard something rustling around in here, well, in this bush, that I suddenly realised that's where you're hiding. And by the way, this bush has tons of thorns on it. So we're gonna have to head back to the orphanage and get you patched up for a bit." We've Asta taking this girl to the orphanage with, well, the father and sister Lily, along with Yuno and the rest, looking at him, saying, "Asta, who's this girl you brought in with you?" As Asta would just say, "Oh, this is someone I've been playing hide and seek with out near the demon skull." As this girl would say, "My name is Noelle, and I prefer just to keep it as Noelle." As the father and sister Lily both look at her, saying, "You look absolutely dreadful, young lady. What happened?" As Asta would perk up, saying, "Oh, we're playing hide and seek," and she hid in a thorn bush. It was a really good place to hide, but I don't think she realised it was full of thorns. Oh, and by the way, here's your bunny that you left on the floor. And she'd get patched up. and then leaves. As, well, a few years later, Yuno and Asta are a lot older, as Yuno actually goes to get him, as he just shouts, Asta, come on, we're going to the grimoire tower today. Asta, where is he? As, well, you would hear, right behind you. That's where I am. As Yuno would turn around to see Asta, or Asta, standing there. With Yuno actually smiling, saying, Seriously? You're still as silent as a dormouse. You know you don't have to be silent when it's me. Or anybody else in the orphanage. As Asta would just smirk, saying, Hey, come on. It's not like you tried not to be silent all the time, you know? You just fail at it. As Yuno would smile, saying, you, sir, are cruel. I only try to be sneaky when I'm trying to peek at your results on our school tests. As Asta would laugh, saying, You only sneak when you want to get my answers for all the questions, you know. You're smart enough to do this on your own. Stop coming to look for me. And look for me and look for my answers on my sheet. Do it all on your own, boy. You know better than this. As both of them would actually laugh, saying, well, with Yuno saying, Yeah, but you gotta admit though, it always keeps you on your toes. With us, they're just smirking, saying, No, I keep you on yours. I don't go around looking at other people's answers on their sheets. Now, do I, Yuno? As Yuno would smile again, saying, Yeah, I guess you're right. Anyway, we gotta go to the Grimoire Tower today. Or are you still gonna stand around looking for your friend to turn up? As Asta would just say, No. I'm not waiting for her. I'm not waiting for my friend to turn up. Although, I really wish I could remember who she was. Oh well. As Yuno would sigh, saying, Still having those memory problems, I see. You can't look constantly down in the dumps all the time, Asta. You'll remember who she was, well, who she is, when the time comes. As Asta would just sigh, saying, Yeah, I know. But hey, I don't see you trying to get any girls, you know. All the girls seem to fancy you for all the reasons in the world. As Yuno would just say, Yeah, I'm smart, got good talents, handsome looking, for one, as some of the ladies tell me. With Asta laughing, saying, Yeah. And you're smug too about it. As Yuno would just say, And I'm smug, as you just said. So technically, what's not to love about me? For you, on the other hand, Asta, you're very tall. You're taller than me, for one. You're ripped as hell. You're silent as I said, a goddamn dormouse. You've got huge amounts of mana. Or I think it's mana. And your hair is stupidly long. You look like a girl, not a boy. As Asta would just scratch his head, saying, Yeah, I don't know why, but I seem to fancy my hair longer. Well, being quite long instead of anything else. I don't know why. Sister Lily constantly wants to put my hair in a ponytail. And I've always said no. With, smirking as he says, Come on, we're going to be late. as they walk off to the grimoire tower for the grimoire ceremony. As they get in, they see the old man. As the old man actually recognizes Asta, and he says, "Ah, Asta, you're back. Back again for what? The grimoire ceremony this time?" As Asta would just grin, saying, "Yeah, let's get on with it." With Yuno saying, well, just smirking, saying, "You've had a friendly relationship with everybody here." With Asta just smirking, saying, "Hey, it's not my problem. It's not my problem that you just suck at helping everybody else out." With Asta actually getting punched in the arm by Yuno, saying, "Shut up. Smart mouth." With them both just laughing as everybody would just look at them. With somebody just saying, "Ugh, two commoners. Great. I hope they don't get a grimoire." As Asta would just laugh with still, as the old man would just say, "Let the ceremony begin." As everybody would get their books, one at a time, would still get the 4-leaf grimoire, as everybody would just be shocked, saying, "He got a 4-leaf grimoire? A commoner. A small commoner gets a grimoire like that. It's powerful too. Wind magic." With smiling, saying, "Yes, and I plan to become the Wizard King for this." Well, a lot of people were just laughing at him, saying, "You won't become the Wizard King at all, commoner." As well, he would walk away, saying, "We'll see about that." As Asta would just walk up to the centre of the room with a cold and calm demeanour, as everybody would sort of be creeped out by how cold he is, just simply standing there with his arms crossed. As no grimoire would come down for some time, some people would start laughing, saying, "The boy has nothing. Not even a grimoire will go near him." As well, a green, well, that a bluish greenish light would start shining, which would even take the grimoire tower's wizard, I guess, or mage, the the old guy who just looks at all the grimoires and that. It would even take him off guard, as everybody would see it, as it would not even have a clover on it. It would have an eye of a tiger. Well, kind of an eye like a tiger, but with blue and green as its highlight. Basically, as like Sephiroth's eyes in Advent Children, if you've ever watched it. As well, Asta would actually smirk, saying, "Huh, I guess a grimoire finally found me." As he would look at it, saying, "But I wish I knew why it didn't have a it didn't actually have a clover on it, like a 4-leaf clover, or hell, even a 1-leaf clover. I would have preferred that to the eye, but hey." As he would actually walk off with unless they don't actually meet the chain mage. Well, doesn't, but Asta does after he leaves, just to go for a quick leak. With the chain mage saying, "Hey kid, that was one hell of an impressive grimoire. Never seen anything like it." As Asta would say, "Thank you, but you're hiding something." As he immediately gets wrapped up in chains, as it just says, "Yeah, thought so." Eventually, he will just break out and beat the guy to a bloody pulp. Now, swiftly moving on to the Magic Night ceremony. Magic Night ceremony. Where they pick their squads. Asta would actually still get picked out by that one guy and soundly defeated, as he would declare that he would become the Wizard King, firmly cementing his rivalry with Yuno. Now, the sword actually doesn't come out, as Asta just beats him with his bare hands. This actually grabbing Yami and Jack the Ripper, or Jack the Ripper's attention, along with Charlotte from the Blue Roses, I think they are, and, well, Fagolion's attention, including the Sylvias, because Asta actually roughly resembles one of the Sylvia family members, as these captains would actually get his as Asta would actually get their attention. As well, William Vengeance then brings down the brooms for them to see how far they can go. In canon, like I forgot to say, like a dummy, the anti-magic birds, I forgot to say this, as I said, like a dummy, none of them went near Asta, they all stayed far away from him as possible. Hell, they went so far they didn't even bother entering the arena. They just stayed on the outside, which caught even everybody else's attention, apart from Nero. She still landed on Asta's head and refused to move. So, on with the tests, shall we? As, well, Yuno would do the same thing in canon, stand on its broom as it goes far up into the sky, above everybody else. With everybody sort of laughing at Asta because he couldn't even get his to lift off the ground. Eventually, Asta just puts his fingers up to his head as he just sighs, but for some odd reason he just moves his hand off to the side, sort of wing motion, as a blue and black wing would appear from his back. This shocking everybody and freaking them out, with Asta not actually realising what they're freaking out about. As William Vengeance just grabs everybody's attention, as he actually walks down from the stands along with all the captains, saying, "Who are you, and how the hell are you doing this?" With Asta just saying, what now? As William Vengeance would just pluck one of the feathers out, as Asta would sort of say, "Ow, the hell was that for? Wait, why am I feeling pain all of a sudden?" As William Vengeance would just say, "This is why you're feeling pain. You've got a wing on your side." As Asta would look around saying, "What do you mean?" Okay. One, I have no idea what this is all about, and two, I now know why everybody's kind of freaked out. Well, as William Vengeance and everybody else were just asking to see if he can fly. With Asta saying, "Sure, I will see what I can do." As he actually can fly. Somehow, even though he doesn't even know how he knows how to fly with this wing. It just seems to become very natural for him. With Yami and the other captains who Asta has piqued an interest for, they all say simultaneously in their heads, "Right, I want this kid in my squad." As well, everything goes the same in canon again. He also doesn't eat the snake that makes him go to the toilet because he's not dumb as well. He heads off to the Black Bulls once again in canon. When he arrives, Yami gives him the ground rules, saying, "Yeah, my squads are kind of loud, obnoxious, and know what to basically do when they're in a fight. So don't piss any of them off." Oh, and by the way, our base has the habit of shifting itself around for no reason. So whenever you see something that's not meant to be there, it's alright. It's just the way our base is. And 1 minute, guys, I'll be back. As I was saying, sorry about that, guys. With Yami just saying to Asta, saying, yeah, our base usually shifts itself around. So, like I said, if you see anything that doesn't belong there, do not worry at all. It's our base. As they walk up to the door, it gets blown off as Luck and Magma are in their little squabble again. With Yami shouting to everybody saying, "Shut up," as he would break the wall again, as it would start to instantly repair itself. With Yami just saying, "Oh yeah, new kid, by the way," that happens, so as soon as you break a wall down, it fixes itself. With Asta sort of saying, "Yeah, kind of noticed that one," as well. Luck and everybody else would just crowd him, asking who he was, what's his mana like, and all this, that, and the other. Along with Gordon, who seems to be interested in him, just like seeing what his mana is like and that. As not luck, as Magma puts him through the trials again, throwing his fireballs as Asta just, dodges them. As soon as Magma throws the big fireball, Asta just quickly puts his hand up to his forehead as he pulls out the wing, as he shoots up to the sky. As everybody would actually look at him in awe, as Magma would just see Asta flying up in the sky, as even Magma would just be saying, "Wow, okay, right. Yami, where did you find this kid?" With Yami just laughing, saying, "Oh, I found him in the Magic Night ceremony. And I am not even sad that I got him. Because, Jesus, if he can fly like this, I'd love to see what he can do in a real fight. And not in our ceremonies and that." With Magma being, 1, scared, B, very impressed, and C, hella, hella motivated to try and get stronger. With Asta actually landing back down with the greatest of ease. With, with everybody sort of crowding around him again, Charmy actually notices this and says, "Here's some yummy food for you, and by the way, why is your hair so long? You look like a girl." With everybody sort of looking at her as she would just shrink, saying, "What? It's true though." As everybody would sort of laugh, including Asta, as he would just say, "My hair is always long. I've preferred it to be long. Because I was in an orphanage for so long, and my hair constantly grew. Sister Lily, the girl, a former Magic Knight, mind you guys, she actually tried to plait my hair, and I just told her no. I don't like anybody touching my hair for some odd reason. I just prefer to leave it as it is. I do cut it myself, just to make sure it doesn't get too long. I don't want to look like bloody Rapunzel. And everybody's sort of staring at him saying, seriously, Rapunzel. As he would just say, yeah, whatever. As well, he would look up to see someone staring at him with a sort of annoyed but yet blushing look. As he would just say, huh, okay, whatever. As he would just walk back in, as the wing eventually dissipates. With Asta actually moving around the base of the black balls, just casually looking, with Magma just showing him where his room is. Yes, Nero would actually get off his head, because during everything, Nero was still on his head, even in the ceremony. Not the ceremony, the rite. The rites and that. As she would just sit on a window and, well, just stare out. With Foster just saying, yep, some reason I have a feeling I'm going to have to put with you. As he would actually tidy his room up, okay, like dust it and all that, get some new furniture in it. Hell, he did all this without anybody else knowing. So when everybody else sees that he was bringing a bed, they all saw what his room was. It was tidy as hell, along with every sort of new furniture. Eventually, Asta would get up one day to go on a tour of the base to find a pillar in front of his door. With Magma just walking around it saying, yeah, Yami told you that our base moves around, so something you're going to have to get used to, I'm afraid, kid. As they actually go walking around the base, Asta eventually meets Noelle, as she still has stopped looking so hot and bothered by somebody, aka Asta. She still has a little spat with Magma, but this time Asta just says, whatever, I'm gonna go and continue the tour on my own if you two are gonna argue like this. With Noelle sort of saying, no, you stay here, boy. You ain't going to disappear just because two people are having arguments. With Asta just saying, yes I am. And you can't really stop me. As Noelle would actually try and send a water ball to him to sort of get him to pay attention to her. As Asta would pull out his signature blade from his grimoire, as Noelle's water ball, or water attack, I should say, hits Magma. With Asta sort of looking at Magma, sort of chuckling, saying, I will admit you do kind of stink, so I think you do need a bath. As Noelle would say, I hope you learn your lesson. That could have been you, if I really wanted to. With Asta chuckling, saying, yeah, you couldn't even hit a barn with that attack. I know who you are aiming at. I got a bit of brain smarts up there, so I know when somebody's got a problem with their mana. As he would walk past her, as he would pat her on the shoulder, well, not pat her on the shoulder, pat her on the head, saying, try to actually think on your feet for once, and actually practice. As he would walk off, with Noelle still saying she quits the Black Balls, as she storms off in one other direction. Just because. Leaving Magma all on his own, drenched. Now, this is where instead of Asta bumping into Noelle, Noelle bumps into him when he's training. As she goes outside, she goes to her usual spot where she would train outside the back, only to find a long coat on a tree branch with some guy who is shredded all to hell with very long hair, as she realizes who it was. As she would actually, panic and hide as she watches Asta, as he would actually use the sword and cut a hell of a lot of trees down with one swing. As he would just continue practicing, doing all sorts of things, tricks, jumping and slashing sideways, jumping and do some spins, as he would always land on his feet with the greatest amount of ease. And a lot of grace, too. Almost like he was a world class dancer. As Noelle would actually snap a twig by accident, as it would actually grab Asta's attention. As he would just turn around and say, "Who's there?" As Noelle would actually notice his eyes, as they're actually gone a different colour. As she sees his grimoire, as she then looks at his eyes again, as his eyes have gone the exact same colour as the grimoire itself. As she stays silent, as Asta moves closer to the bush that she was hiding behind, as she would start sweating, as she would just say to herself in her head, "Please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't see me, please don't see me." As Asta would look directly at the bush, not knowing that she was inside, as he would then plunge his hand in, as he would see if there was anything in there. His hand coming right next to Noelle's face, as she would hold her breath, but letting a small breeze out, as she then has her face grabbed, as she gets pulled out of the bush from her face. With Asta just then letting go, saying, "Oh, it's you. Don't sneak up on people like that. You're going to get yourself killed." As she looks towards Asta's other hand, as she sees the blade being held backwards, so it's not to kill anybody. As she would then look at Asta's eyes again, as she would just say, "Why are your eyes like your grimoire?" As Asta would just say, "What do you mean, why are my eyes like my grimoire? It's not like I have a mirror or anything." As well, she would grab him drag him towards the window, as she would basically rush toward the other side of the window, put something up it, so Asta could see his reflection. and she would walk out. And she would just say, "Now do you believe me? Why do your eyes have a slit in them?" The Asta would just stare, saying, "You're talking to a guy who just told you, who's just about to tell you this. No idea, Noelle." As she would say, "I never told you my name." As she has a flashback to Magma saying, "Oh yeah, that's Noelle Sylvia." As she would say, "Oh, he told you because he was showing you around." As she would have another flashback of Asta and her sitting together, having fun and playing games. But her not really realizing that it's Asta, as she would just open her mouth saying, "It kind of reminds me of that hide and seek game I was playing with that Asta fella all those years ago, before my family found out and bullied me so much that I no longer went to see him, just so I avoid them like the plague." As Asta would just say, "Wait, is that seriously you, Noelle? I recognised the name, but I thought there would be other Noelles." And she would just say, "Wait, why are you acting like you know me?" As Asta would just say, "Well, funny thing is though, as soon as you mentioned that hide and seek with Asta, as you called me, as you said, with Asta, you kind of got my mind thinking, wait, the girl who I used to play hide and seek with once, by the way, just the singular time, is actually in the same squad I'm in." As he sort of put his sword away, as he just put his hands behind his back, saying, "What weird coincidence." And she would then put two and two together, and she would say, "Wait, you're Asta?" And he would smile, saying, "Well, dumb ass question. Yeah, of course I'm Asta." As she would then freak out, as again she would lose control of her magic. But this time it's a lot closer to the Black Bull's hideout, directly on top of it to be precise. With everybody again rushing out, Yami then grabs Asta and throws him, as Asta will pull out a wing again and, well, slash the water ball of death for Noelle as he would, well, as she would fall. As Asta would actually grab her from the arm with his free hand, as he would lower her down with, again, grace. With her about to get feeling like she's about to get ridiculed, as the same thing happens in canon where everybody says you're afraid that you can't control your magic. With Magma saying we're all a bunch of rejects anyway. With everything going on in canon. So this is actually where I'm going to end it, guys. Hope you all like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll continue doing this one along with the Asta was the kid of Igneo one later. Au revoir, peace, and have a great day.